Hi everyone and welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Write Your Narrative. Thank you for the Peter Turney experience where we are right now in Wynwood Walls for this special Miami Art Week podcast, video podcast. So we have a fantastic guest today, this fine young lady, Miss Elle. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. How are you today?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me, Pascal. It's
You're
wonderful
so
to see
very
you,
welcome.
as
Always, it's always year after year after year. It's such a pleasure to see you.
Oh.
And my co-host today, it's Mr. Sandro. Sandro, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you.
Well,
nice to be here again.
Yes, nice to be here again. I mean, Sandro and I started, Sandro started a little bit before me, before the Token of the World magazine, but he was my biggest introduction to this beautiful and amazing world of Wynwood. I mean, all of you, whatever you brought to Wynwood, this is just so fantastic, so fantastic. So
cool.
I was looking at your bio this morning and something kind of caught my eye. So it says, it's someone that wrote in a book, Women Street Artist, something to know. Elle's work is evocative, alluring, lavish, outrageous, purposeful, and informative. Although she began as an illegal graffiti artist in New York, an illegal graffiti artist? I want to hear more about that.
What do you know about that? Surely that.
I want to know about that. Okay. So what can you share with our viewers?
Sure, yeah. So I dropped out of art school, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I quit art and I moved to New York because I wasn't liking the program I was doing, and I was trying at the time I was doing a painting program at Brandeis University. And I was doing like super flat, Japanese style, super pop colors. And they were like, look at Rembrandt. And I was like, I don't like brown. Like, this is ridiculous. And then there was this weird rivalry between the men and the woman teachers.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm leaving. So I quit and I moved to New York and I gave up art and became a bartender. And I saw street art for the first time. You know when you see graffiti or street art for the first time and you're like, oh, I saw wheat paste art for the first time and was like, I want to do that. And so my friend, he actually I found out he was doing this street art. So he taught me, he said, come over to my studio, we'll draw the wheat paste, and then we'll make the wheat buckets and put them up. So we did that. And I think my first one was a little pig with the tag Elle on the tail.
Oh.
Yeah, it was cute. And then put it up, and the next day it was on Brooklyn Street Art, and people were interacting with it. And this was so exciting to me because I had been painting in my studio. No one was seeing the art. The art was getting rolled up and dying under my bed, like to rot forever. And I just thought, what a sad future for these paintings. And so the fact that people were excited by the art, the fact that people were interacting with the art was really fantastic. And one of the best experiences that I had, that was soon after that, I really became instantly addicted. And so I started putting up a lot of art on the streets, a lot of wheat paste. And I had this artist, fantastic Mr. Fox, one night come back and put a little fox jumping over one of my piglets and said, who is this little piglet? And so I came back the next day and put another message. And then he came back the next day and put some balloons floating with a poem. And I was interacting with artists on the street and collaborating, and I still don't know who the artist is.
Oh, you still don't know?
I still don't know. I've never met him. But how cool that you could have a dialogue on the streets. For me, that was really, really exciting. The wheat paste, I got very obsessed. I did a lot of it, but I started to get disillusioned by the ephemerality of it.
Yes,
it was coming off the street so quickly, and I was making big pieces. Me and my friend Shin Shin, we were doing collabs, like 6 feet tall deer with ladies riding them, and big warrior ladies, peaceful warriors. And they were coming off the street. I spent a week painting it, and it'd get painted over the next day or something. And so,
they were painted, they were not even printed.
Oh no, they were both. I was doing both. Yeah, some were hand painted entirely, some were printed and painted, some were just printed, some were silk screened.
Wow,
I did all of it. But a lot of them were hand painted, actually. And I would even cut mylar and put them into the bus shelters. Jordan Seiler with Public Ad Campaign was making those keys to break into bus shelters. So I was using those to get into the bus shelters and replace ads. And I was hand cutting mylar, beautiful, like 6 feet tall pieces that would get stolen the next day. So anyways, I started to eye graffiti because I thought, wow, these people are really getting up quickly and it's not coming down so easily.
No, it's not.
And so I started to meet other graffiti artists. I met Lee Trice, and through Lee Trice, I met Rambo, who became a very good friend of mine and a mentor, Judith Supine, who I started working for, Anthony Lister. They were all kind of staying together at Anthony Sneed's house
He's
in
a
New
big
York.
Lister fan, big Lister
But
fan.
there was a really amazing community there, and we would just get together and make art and go paint graffiti and do these things. Then I met Matt Siren, and he and I started painting with fire extinguishers on the street. And that was really great because you could go 30, 50 feet in the air. Yeah, I was climbing billboards. I was climbing big, very scary billboards and painting, doing rollers off the top of roofs. I did get arrested twice, once while I was on probation. Yeah.
Well, Mom is here watching. You knew that?
Mom is here watching.
You had to bail her out?
She was not happy. She was like, "What are you doing?" She's very proud now, but I was like, "I'm obsessed. I don't know. I'm addicted." It's an addiction for sure.
It is.
But it actually transitioned. For me, it was all about I'm obsessed with something, and that has continued to change. As I got sponsored by a spray paint company, I became obsessed with petting walls, just petting walls with spray cans. And now I'm moving into sculpture and glass and clay.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me.
I'm on a roll.
You are on the roll. But look at that. From that past in New York doing some illegal stuff, today you're into Winwood walls with the absolutely incredible mural and art light installation.
Thank you.
This is something just amazing. And watching you paint and your evolution of a work, the first time that I met you, and we mentioned that with Chaz the other day, that was you on the right side, you have Findak next to you, you have Buff Monster on the other side, and the London police was painting outside and was just down the street. There was a project, a building project that they had.
My first time painting in Winwood walls. I think it was about 15 years ago or something.
12 years ago, yes. 12 years ago,
yes. It was the
yes.
Amsterdam Pavilion. I think
Yes.
it was with Highland and with a lot of my very good friends now. But what an opportunity
I
that
know,
was.
this was
so
just like-
cool. And Chaz, Chaz from London Police, he's been a very good friend of mine for so long and really introduced me to a lot of the people here. And, so I have a lot to owe to all of those old friends who have really just taken me under their wing when I was
Yeah.
really bad and I was really a toy and
Oh.
just brought me along,
Calling yourself a toy.
Oh, we all were in the
Oh,
beginning,
what a collectible toy. I would put you on my shelf in a heartbeat. Definitely. Oh, yes. No, you can be so proud. I mean, really,
I
this
am
is...
now, yeah.
You can definitely call yourself no longer a toy, but an artist. A well-established, known artist, brilliant artist.
Thank
brilliant
you.
artist.
Thank you.
I mean, those paintings bring so much joy, and there's so many details, so many layering, so many different things
Yeah.
that you can spend a lot of time watching you paint. What a treat! What a treat!
That's so
what
cool.
a treat!
Thank you
no,
so
it
much.
really is.
So what made you get into neon? What attracted you to that?
Yeah, so during COVID, I took my first class with Meryl Pataquet, who's a neon artist based in San Francisco. And I can't really remember the impetus. I know I wanted to move into 3D. Suddenly, I had an experience that made me really want to make a shift into the 3D. And I can't remember how it was that I ended up finding Meryl. I knew of her already because she obviously is an amazing artist, and her husband had a gallery in San Francisco and worked with Nitros, who was a friend of mine. So anyways, I took a class with her and became instantly obsessed with it. And so I decided to go to Pilchuck Glass School, which is Dale Chihuly's glass school. You know the man. The
Oh,
glass
yes.
yeah, an amazing glass school in Washington. So I went for one glass blowing seminar where I could bend neon at night, and I met some amazing friends there that were teaching bending glass and things. And then I went back for a neon bending seminar. And after that, I decided to build a neon bending studio on my side yard. So this year I built a large neon bending studio in my side yard, and I had to figure out, it's not something you can just Google. Like, how do you pipe in the gas, and how do you get the air? And just so many pieces fell into place for me that it was really magical. My neighbor ended up, he has a glass blowing studio 5 minutes away from my house. And he ended up having all of the equipment for neon. And he said, if you build this space, you can use my equipment. And so I have all of his equipment in there, and it's so fantastic. And then Meryl ended up moving to Vallejo. And so, my dad brought coffee. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
Dad, welcome to the
Thank you.
podcast. All right.
You guys can have some if you like. But so I'm finding actually, I was very majorly shifted during COVID. I lost my New York apartment, I lost my LA apartment and studio. And I was living in Australia where I'm permanent resident. But my parents live in Napa.
I think last time I heard about you, you couldn't come to Wynwood because you were stuck in Australia because of COVID.
I was stuck in Australia. I mean, I was like, COVID was a whole wild situation, but I ended up in California. And so I have all this space now. So I have a 36-foot painting wall, the glass studio. I've got a stained glass area. I started making 3D stained glass pieces. Sorry, I'm all over the board now.
But that's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah,
I mean,
so I've
that's
been-
what artists are. I mean, you're a creative mind. So.
So in a way, COVID was good for you. It helped you grow.
You know, I think it helped me get settled a little bit. And normally I would just go find my sister in Hawaii or go travel somewhere and go mess around, and go play. And really I was like, I need to take my work very seriously and have a studio practice where if I'm not on a job, I go back and I work in the studio. And so, recently I've been taking classes with this woman, Suzanne, and she's teaching me to make large build clay sculptures. So clay sculptures that can go in the kiln and stack. So I'm putting holes in those in which I'll put the neon, and then I want to do blown glass on top of those. So I'm just really, I was taking a 3D printing class, but I failed because, well, I had to go to Milan to debut my Kohler bathroom suite. So I missed most of it, but I ended up being able to hire my teacher to do the AutoCAD for my cruise ship. So I was hired by Norwegian to do the exterior of their 2026 cruise ship.
Oh, wow.
1,056 feet long on both sides.
Well.
But not only did I have to make the design, I had to find and build an AutoCAD and Rhino team to map out the artwork onto the ship, because they're actually going to be hand painting it on the ship. They've got 30 people that projection map it onto the ship and hand paint it. So I had to make a paint by number, and it had to be like 30 colors or less, which for me, I was like, what?
I know.
I used the entire
I know.
rainbow. How can it be 30 colors? So it was a real challenge for me.
30 colors?
Yeah.
That's quite a lot already.
No, well, if you start shading
All
things,
the gradients, the shading, yes.
gradients are going to take up a lot of color.
Yes, if you want a smooth gradient, you need colors that are close to each other, or it will not be smooth.
Exactly.
And so it was very hard.
So some huge project this
Well, that must be
upcoming
really
year.
exciting, getting a whole cruise ship.
Yeah, crazy, really crazy. Yeah, it's called Luna. And I went out to Venice a couple months ago to go see it being built. And I saw the sister ship, which Human actually designed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I saw Humans being painted, and I took the tour of that ship, and then I saw mine, which didn't even have the walls yet. So what you're seeing online is, because we have the Rhino and AutoCAD designs, they were able to digitally create it. And so you're seeing digital animations of it right now. But it's going to be really beautiful. I'm very excited.
Oh,
That sounds awesome.
well,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I mean, coming from the streets of New York, Wynwood, but then now you're all over the world. I mean, you really are bringing your art worldwide
Yeah.
for everyone to enjoy. I mean, from one mural to the sculpture to so many projects.
Yeah. It's
And so many
exciting. It's
collaboration, I'm sure also
It's
with some
amazing.
big brands. And
Not bad for an art school dropout.
Yeah, art school dropout, totally. Just a bartender in New York.
oh
Yeah.
gosh! All right, I will
Yeah,
throw you
very
the biggest
happy.
tip right now. Poof.
I love it.
Nice fat
Thank
tip.
you. But yeah, the neon, I don't know how I got into it. I forget. But basically, I
Well,
became
neon
obsessed.
it's so cool. I mean, I remember I grew up and there was neon everywhere. All the signs were made of neon, and some were animated, and then there's just a certain warmth and a certain. It's, everything's digital now.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's such a cool art. And
Yeah.
and glass is so organic.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And it's becoming a lost art, you know?
Yeah.
And the thing is that neon was a very guarded secret.
Yeah.
It was patented, and you had to like
Okay.
buy the patent or something as a shop in order to learn the skills
Yeah.
from Claude. What I don't remember the French guy that invented it or whatever, a long time ago. And
Claude
so
Neal?
because of that, yeah, maybe I don't
Claude Neal.
remember. I'm bad. But so it's been losing, like people don't know how to do it. And so it's so cool that Meryl and these teachers at Pilchuck are willing to teach people how to create it. And working with glass over fire, it's just like becomes this noodle, you know, and you're like working with this hollow tube of glass to create. But what I realized is I can build in 3D with it. You know, I don't have to stay flat on a table. I have been learning that practice because that's traditional sign building. You build it on a table, keep it flat so you can install it flat. But in my visions, you can use it as like a big spaghetti string.
But
So-
even when it's flat, you have to curve it on itself. It's
Yes.
like you have to learn how to make those curves and how to handle it.
Yeah, and Meryl and a couple of my mentors are teaching me, like, we're using xenon gas and they're using helium
Each
gas.
different each glass is a different color.
Or sorry, gas,
gas,
not
yeah.
glass.
Yeah, it's
But
gas.
Yes, and they're different colors. They have different energies. They do different things in the tube, and they interact with different phosphors. And so we've been hand coating with phosphors that create different colors, and just getting really weird. So I'm loving it.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
The one on the wall here, I've got
Yes.
argon, mercury, and phosphor coating on the flower. And then the large fire piece is xenon.
Yeah.
And it's xenon in a clear tube that we coated with a little bit of phosphor. And it's just so beautiful. It flickers like a flame. It's really gorgeous.
Oh, we're
That
gonna
should be
have to come back and do a
beautiful.
little video at night.
Beautiful at night. Yeah. Yeah.
So how did you get invited to come? Tell me a little bit about how that happened.
So, yeah, I mean, Wynwood Walls, obviously, we all know it's like a huge honor to be invited to be here. And you never know if you're actually going to get the invite, right? But Troy reached out to me recently this year and was like, hey, you know, we want to have a phone call with you, a little Zoom meeting. Are you free? And I was like, okay, yeah. And then him and Jessica were on FaceTime, and Jessica invited me to be part of the Walls. And I said, I probably said, are you sure you want a painting and not a sculpture? Because I've been doing that to everyone that asked me for a painting this year. But they were like, we have a really nice wall for you. And I said, well, can I put neon on it?
Yeah.
And they said, okay, sure, we'll make it happen. Which for me is very exciting because as much as I love the process, it's very time consuming, it's expensive. I had to make it with my friend Meryl because I still don't have the full capacity of skill set to
Yes.
create the full viable pieces yet to last.
To last, that's
And I
gonna
don't
be, yes.
bombard them yet. So I needed help. And so to do that, to ship them out, to have them installed is a very expensive, long process. So
Like,
really,
exporting glass is
yeah,
they're very
yeah.
fragile.
So really cool that they're willing to support that and allow me to install that was just like huge for me. So this is a really big deal to have. I bent that some of it was too hard for me. So I tried about 15 times for each piece on that wall, and a few of them are mine. So, I'm getting there, but it's very exciting. Yeah, but I'm really honored, to be part of the Wynwood Walls. I remember coming here about 15 years ago and seeing How Nazem painting.
Yes.
And just thinking, wow, that's amazing, amazing, amazing. Like how cool to be in this, how cool to just the best of the best. And
Yeah.
so, yeah,
They used to have the wall right behind this one.
Yeah,
Right behind this
man,
one.
crazy.
This is and for us, the local people, thank you so much. I mean, for bringing this. This is so exciting. I mean, Wynwood Walls is an institution now. I mean, and coming year after year and bringing the best of the best of the best of the street artists. This is so beautiful, so beautiful. Walking into these walls, I mean, this is definitely a museum, open air museum. So
So cool.
thank you so much for bringing this
yeah.
to us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
I mean, coming back and being able to see you guys every year is part of the highlight for us too, right? Like, and everyone coming together every year is like a family reunion. And so that
It totally
really
is.
what
Totally
makes it special. And I always try to stay longer, and I'm like, I need to see everyone and hang out.
Yes.
And it's
And
so
of-
great.
Yeah, 'cause
Maybe-
this week is so crazy. It's like so much
Crazy.
happening. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. But really wonderful.
Yeah, maybe you want to have also a little time time for yourself. The weather has been so perfect lately. It's just like, how can you not enjoy
we got
yourself
lucky.
in Florida?
Oh,
Remember 2015 when it rained all the time?
Oh
and
my
hardly
gosh,
anybody could paint?
we had a couple of,
yeah.
This week has been great.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, we had a couple of basils. Nobody could finish their pieces, and everybody already had their flight booked for the Sunday or the Monday, and then they were living like
Oh,
halfway.
God.
Yes,
Oh,
sometimes
that's
half.
terrible.
Yes.
No, it rained the entire week. It was
remember-
like people were like trying to paint with while it was raining.
Oh
you know,
my
it
God.
was a, it
I
was
remember
a
one
mess.
time painting in Iceland, and I think it was Avoca One was up painting a wall, and he didn't have the time to finish, and so finally someone went up there with a squeegee, and they would go squeegee, and he would paint squeegee, and he would paint in the rain because we just it didn't
say with
stop.
Avoca?
Yeah, I think it
Yes.
was Avoca. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, what another great
seen him in a
artist.
while.
No, I'm not so sure. He's probably still around.
Haven't seen him in a long
Kind of
time.
moved into some fine art and
Oh.
or underground. I don't know.
Ah.
He hasn't been around as much as he was. Well, now they have two children, so also
yeah.
it's a little family thing. So
So sweet.
no children on your side?
No, I am an auntie, and I'm such a happy auntie.
Okay.
I hated babysitting growing up. I kind of hate children, except for my niece and nephew. I love my niece and nephew, but I've never liked kids. I don't want them around.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, they're not for me.
yeah.
I have a hard time taking care of myself, you know.
Oh. You're doing quite a good job. You're doing quite a good job. A little coffee gets you going.
But I love other people's kids, so
Yeah?
that's perfect. Yeah.
It's sort of like when you're a grandparent, you know, you can spoil them, you can get them all right,
Yes.
and then you send them back to the parents.
Totally buy boxes of bubble gum just to piss off the parents. Like,
Just to piss off the parents.
Buy them noisy toys and send them back.
Yeah. The monkey that goes.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still do that toy.
oh my God. No, but I do have a beautiful organic garden. I've been farming. I have this place in California now, and I have space. So I've been trying to grow all my vegetables and getting really into the flora and the plants, and I've been planting a lot of trees, and
Oh, cool.
I'm really inspired by all of that, and
Are
really
you
enjoying it.
incorporating that into your work at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think, my work in the last couple of years has sort of turned into like a little bit more floral and abstract.
Okay.
I'm getting really interested in the texture of things. So I love a sweet ombre fade and spray paint that's so soft, juxtaposed with a fire extinguisher splash, for
Nice.
example. And those things together, plus like neon light, I just want to get a little bit abstract and just appreciate those textures, I think is where I'm really at the moment.
Good. Well, they may ask you next year to bring some of this beautiful sculpture here.
Oh my God, I hope so. Yeah.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I'm sure. Well,
Yeah.
you get all
but
the.
they let me get the fire extinguisher out for this wall, which I was like, yeah, I got to bring the fire extinguisher in because I used to paint with it on the street. But as soon as I had it here and it was full, I was like, how do I not destroy the entire compound with this
Oh.
fire extinguisher?
Yeah,
You guys,
it's
they
not
splatter,
exactly a
they go
precise tool.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So I had to make this little ET fort where I plasticized the entire wall, and then I like crawled under it and then painted in the plastic.
For this one,
Yes,
you
yeah.
use that?
Yeah, the pink in the background in
Okay.
the triangle, it was the first thing I did on the wall. You'll see the splash, the energetic splash, that's the fire extinguisher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Well, I missed that part.
Yeah.
It's really hard, I imagine, to use, that spray and control it because it's really gonna go everywhere.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
Do you know,
It's not made
actually...
for precision.
No.
No.
And then they were like, oh, why don't you finish off the fire extinguisher and teach the little class? We're doing little like artist teach.
Yes.
So I was like, it's really messy. Maybe we don't do that. And they were like, no, do it for the finale. It's okay.
For the
and I
finale?
was like, okay.
Okay.
So, I went over there.
As long as
I
I don't have
wrote,
to clean
yeah,
up.
I tagged Elle a couple times. I was like, well, there's still paint. Does anyone else want to do it? So the people were getting on there. Martha Cooper was on there painting with the fire extinguisher.
Oh, I would have loved to see that.
All good, right? So then 3 hours later, I get a phone call. Elle, we need you to come to the Museum of Graffiti right now. You painted Tristan Eaton's brand new Porsche that he has for his solo show with your fire extinguisher.
God.
And I was like, oh my God, no.
Oh.
No, I knew it was a bad idea. But so It was fine. It ended up being fine. Like
Of
six
course.
of us went over with buckets of water and soap, and it was actually a wrap. So
That was a wrap, yeah.
it was totally fine.
That reminds me
Oh
when
my
nobody was
gosh.
painting, but painting a sign across from the arena, the basketball arena.
Oh, yes, yes,
And
yes.
he was spraying and didn't pay attention to what he was doing, and he sprayed like 14 cars below him.
Oh,
He got arrested.
no.
Yeah.
He got arrested?
Yeah, he got arrested because of
course.
that.
Oh my god.
Because
Yeah,
he
no,
was
no.
paying, he was just painting the sign and didn't pay attention to what he was doing, and all these cars below, because it's in the middle parking lot.
Oh my god.
So there were all these cars parked nearby, and he sprayed them all.
Oh my god. That's hilarious. I mean, not hilarious, but it happens.
It happens.
It's the best of us.
It happens. That's one chapter in the book. This is how we write the Winwood narrative. This is it. It's
So, I mean,
one
it's part of-
chapter.
It's part of graffiti and street art.
It's true. It's a messy craft.
Yeah.
A messy craft. Yeah. Yeah. There's so many stories along the road, so many things happening, so many encounters and so many people that we meet. You mentioned Chaz and so many people that you bring along, and your path goes from one directions to the other directions, to one country to another country, one continent to another continent, and then bringing your art, making friendships. So this is such a beautiful things to see.
Yeah.
And then eventually you come back home, and then you come back home to Winwood because we love to have you here. We just love to have you here.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think, there's a lot of opportunity once you're invited to work with Winwood Walls. They have the
That's it.
galleries, they have a lot of connections, they do a lot of projects. So I'm excited to see what happens and where it goes. And, the fact that they're willing to support the neon means potentially they can help me support into
I'm sure.
the 3D a little bit more. So I'm very excited about that.
Are you putting any work in the gallery?
I have a piece in the, what's it called? The Exodus Gallery? The one right here, the
Yes,
smaller
that
one.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool! I gotta check that out.
Yeah,
Oh, you gotta check that out.
Yeah.
If you want to buy it, it's too late. It's sold.
Yay.
All right, so Elle, thank you so much for being on the podcast and
it's
sharing
my
those
pleasure.
true story with
Is
us
there
and with our
anything
listeners.
that you guys want to share? Like, tell a story about you guys and your history?
The podcast is all about you. What we've been, and thank you so much for Sandro for documenting
Yeah,
that
my
art
pleasure.
scene in Winwood and putting the work and doing those crazy fisheye photos and everything. You are a creative too. You are definitely creative. When I had the magazine Talking Off the Wall for almost 2 years, we had 18 issues. We collaborated on so many covers,
Issues,
and covers. You shot so many pictures with so many different artists.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so he's an artist himself. So I have to thank you so much also for that. Publicly.
My pleasure.
Publicly. No. Really. And with the project that I started 12 years ago, that Token of the Wall, which was also a big part for this community, this lovely, wonderful Miami, South Florida art community. There's a lot of people who have a lot of talents, and seeing these people growing, like Ivan for 12 years that we knew, he was still in art school at the time, and now he's an accomplished artist. Traveling the country
when I first met
also.
him, he was still just doing that little evil face
That,
of his. That
which
actually
is
gets
in a corner over there. That little virus.
And he's
Oh my
grown so much. His
This
art
is
so
this is
cool.
incredible.
You know?
So this is such a beautiful thing to see our local people evolving. You, when I first met you, I mean, this is beautiful. And so thank you so much for everyone who has been part of this, writing the Winwood narrative.
Yeah, including you. I mean, it's so wonderful. So I'm so grateful. And yeah,
Yes.
I love our little family.
And you mentioned that every year, this is during that Miami Art Week,
cool.
Art Basel as we call it, this is a big, fun and happy family reunion. So thank you so much for being part of this.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much again, guys. So this is it for the podcast today. Once again, we have to thank the Peter Tony Experience, and we'll be back tomorrow for another episode.
Woo!
Have a good one, everyone. Ciao, ciao.